Rolling.
Alita's ready back there.
I hear her.
I know, right?
I gave her a green.
Come join us.
Yeah, she'll chill here in a minute.
There you go.
Thanks so much for coming, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having
Kenneth
me.
Foster.
Yes, sir.
Forrester.
2 R's.
I'm
don't
terrible
have
with
to,
names.
You don't have to apologize. Everyone says Foster.
Do they really?
It's a more common name.
Oh my god. And yeah.
Forrester's a Scottish name. It is.
Forrester.
Aye.
I wouldn't have been able to tell.
Right. Oh, right. The red beard and all.
I know, right?
What should have came in my kilt.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I was married in a kilt.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got married last year.
Oh, congrats,
I
man.
wore my kilt. Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. How long have you known her?
Oh man, now almost 6 years.
6
6
years.
years this year. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So a lot of change, super recent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then our first year of marriage starts out like this.
How so?
COVID-19 and
Oh.
everything else.
Oh.
And she's going, our first year of marriage is supposed to be happy. And I'm like, we can make it happy. It'll be fun.
That's right. Well, now there's the riots.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Man.
We were watching TikTok, and apparently they're all over the place.
It's everywhere. Yeah. You can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm maybe 3 minutes from the city, so
Is that right?
I can hear everything.
Really?
I can't see it, but I can hear it, and I go on your phone, and there it is.
Yeah.
But
Pictures
we've been staying in.
That's good. That's good. Same here.
Yeah.
Trying to.
We're glad we got to know our neighbors.
Yeah.
We're good friends with our neighbors. That's something that I think was instilled in me a long time ago. It's like, know your neighbors, who they are.
I'm starting to realize that more and more now because here in Buford, I've been here for 6 years working at an ad agency. And one thing I've noticed is the more you start, learning who people are, know your neighbors and all of this, there's benefits.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think it's wise when you move into a new place to just have a kind of a feel.
Yeah.
Go talk to a couple of people and say,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? What's going on with you? And you can, that's just me. There's people that don't want to talk to anybody ever, and they stay in their house, and it's like, okay, but I like to have some backup. If someone sees something happen, they're like, hey, someone saw like someone on our porch or something, like, hey, tell me, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So it's just a wise thing to know the people around you, I think.
No,
I brought you a gift, sir.
You don't have to give me a gift, man.
It's the new currency.
Oh, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Stock has risen, my man.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
This is the new Fallout. It's not bottle caps.
No, it's toilet paper. Oh, dude. So you're a gamer too?
It's that double ply, man.
Oh, damn. That's like $10 a roll now.
We bougie now. We got a bidet in the house, so we don't need it no more.
Is that right?
Yep.
I hear that's the way to go.
My brother's a master plumber, and right before all this stuff happened, at Christmas time, Caitlin bought me a bidet.
Nice.
She said, "Your asshole will thank me."
Oh my
on
God.
the tag. And it did.
Yeah.
And my brother recently installed it, and dude, there's
God.
no compare.
I think
It's amazing.
Yeah?
Yes.
I've only ever used it once, but I can understand the cleanliness argument.
Oh man,
So
clean, and you use like one of these,
Right.
One little piece of it, and you don't have to like. So.
Saves so much.
But to your question, yes, I am. I've been a gamer for many years.
Same, man.
Retro gamer. Collector. I collect a lot of old systems.
Don't even tell me that, man. I've gotten the bug recently.
Yeah.
But now I'm just trying to.
She doesn't look.
No, not at all.
She's like, don't encourage him.
Well,
how dare you,
dude? I love it. At first, it started with the physical copies because I have a ton of digital copies on my Switch, and then I was like,
it's just not the same.
It's not the same.
It's got the art and
the box, the cart. I think it's more,
It's dying out. It's
Yeah. There's something about physical media, especially with The Witcher 3. It came out on Switch.
Yeah.
And they were like, everything's on one cart.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did they? This is magic. This is weird. And then you play it, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like the port, but I've played it everywhere else.
I've over time I've had to sell some in recent times in the beginning of the year just because things got rough job wise. But I have most of the major systems: the Super Nintendo, the NES, Dreamcast, PS2, PS1.
Now, do you have some of those rare games like what was someone like Persona?
I have a I think it's Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo.
Oh man,
which is essentially Final Fantasy, but it's Mario, and then it had a limited release.
Yeah,
and a lot of those games, even some 64 games, are super rare now too. Like Smash Bros. Sold so much that there's not a lot left.
Is that right?
So,
you mean like out there?
Yeah, like people don't let them go. So it's those good games that it's the same with Mario Kart. You can't find it anywhere because no one wants to let it go.
Right.
But
yeah, I was over there. There's a video game trade shop here.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of retro systems, and I still don't know what to start with. Right now, I'm like, I'll just do a physical collection on Switch because a lot of them are rare.
Yeah.
They'll release digitally with these indie developers. And then they have to do like a limited run with Limited Run or I Am 8-Bit. So I got some of those, and that's scratching the itch. So I don't know where else to start.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's just something about I feel old school sometimes. My nephew is 14 now. Mm-hmm. I'm 31. And
about to be 30 myself, bro.
He'll start like talking about certain things. I start feeling like an old man. Like, what's your Fortnite? I don't know what you're talking about.
Flossing.
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm just like, get your flosses and your Insta book to Facegrams out of here. But I got him interested in older games because he was like, oh, these games are the coolest. I was like, all right, well let's play some of my games real quick.
There you go.
His favorite game, he's put it over Fortnite.
Okay.
He's put it over all the big
Minecraft.
Like Destiny. Like he's a big Destiny fan.
Okay.
Is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory for the first Xbox.
Yeah, when the Duke.
I got him on that game, and he's like, I love this game.
Oh man.
Right? Like it's the most amazing game of all time, and I was just like,
it was back then, man.
It was, and sorry, let me close this.
No, you're good. Alita likes to get into.
That's okay. There's nothing really in there. A computer in there if you want it.
I remember when that one came out. I was a big Metal Gear fan.
Yeah.
And that was a big sneaking thing.
That's the sneaking thing.
Yeah. And then my friend who wanted to be a Marine.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you don't know stealth.
You don't even know.
I know. Play some Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
And I had gotten into it, and I can see why.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It was
for the time.
It was a game changer too when it came out.
Absolutely.
It was, even for just the graphics in general. You look back on it, you're like, man, for a first generation Xbox,
it looks pretty good.
It looks pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The lighting and the reflective graphics and stuff are like just predecessors to what we have now. So
yeah, and now these indie guys are doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
With Unreal Engine 4 and everything.
Yeah,
it looks so good.
Someone did a revamp of Ocarina of Time, but with Unreal Engine. And I was like, I feel like I would die if I played. I mean, that was my game. Man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her to play it.
Oh.
Because we're big on let's share things from our childhood and let's learn more about each other.
The best way to be, yeah, man.
And I was like, well, then you have to play Ocarina of Time with me.
Oh.
And she's like, okay. It's like, I don't think you know what you're agreeing to. This is a long ass game.
And it's old.
So
there's a lot of quality of life improvements that could be made.
She was a gamer for a while until she when she was younger, she played WoW and computer games and stuff. Oh,
nice. Okay. So she wasn't new.
Right. She's not new to games, but she hasn't played them in a long, long time.
Sure.
Well, there just wasn't time. She was in school for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
For a music degree.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a degree in music and minor in theater.
Okay.
And that took up most of her life. So it's like playing games, like she didn't have. There's no time. I mean, she took 10 classes at one time.
Oh man, I feel that way now, man.
Yeah.
You know, like just trying to find time to play. I'm redoing BioShock.
Oh yeah.
And I never had a chance to finish it.
Yeah.
I've started it so many times.
Yeah, I want to go back to some old games that I did. Like I still have games that I bought that are still in the plastic, and I'm such an idealist and a procrastinator.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I know I'm going to play this one day.
Yeah.
But I gotta finish these games first.
Absolutely.
Like if I can't beat this one, I can't start playing this one.
Absolutely.
So I literally have years of backlog games just waiting for me to play them.
Yeah.
And eventually, I just recently, during all this time, I lost my job in February.
Are you
so
serious?
I haven't worked
really?
since then. Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was working at Rhino Staging.
Rhino, okay.
Stagehand, and I was training to be an audio video tech for live events and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And since COVID-19, all the live events went out the window.
Yeah.
So that was like the first thing that went.
Yeah, yeah.
She just got furloughed.
Really?
From her job, which it took a long time. I thought it was going to be sooner, but she worked at Center for Puppetry Arts.
Wow. I have a friend that...
that place is really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. I have a friend, Chris Caphaze. He's an actor. And he's all about puppetry. That's awesome.
Yeah, puppetry is amazing. I have a huge... I mean, they have a museum there. You know, Jim Henson funded that place years and years ago.
Whoa.
He's keeping it alive now he's sending, like, the Jim Henson Foundation is sending money.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it's the only one in Atlanta.
Yeah.
New York has like 2 or 3, but this place has been here for a long time. They want to preserve it.
Absolutely.
He's I know he's not, but the foundation is. And when it was open, I got to go in there. It brings you to tears when you go through the museum because you don't realize how impactful these characters are in your life as a child.
Oh, sure.
Until you physically see them in this glass. It's something weird. It's something just magical about it.
Absolutely.
You see Ernie and I mean, I'm getting just
goosebumps
thinking about it.
Yeah.
But there's something very just subtle and wonderful and beautiful about seeing the origins of these characters that you've loved for so many years.
Absolutely.
And it really grounds you. And man, it's humbling. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It's humbling because you grow up with them all the time. You see them moving around, but then you just see them kind of like looking at you.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Just there they are.
Right there they are. And you can see the little fuzzies on their face. And you're just like, what? Like your whole being wells up and you're like, these characters help raise generations of children.
Absolutely.
You know. So it's I definitely 10 out of 10. I would check it out when it opens.
I'm gonna have to, man.
They also have a Dark Crystal.
Don't even tell me that right
Museum
now,
area.
dude. I got into the whole thing because of Netflix's show last year.
Yep.
Whoa.
They have all the puppets they use in the museum.
Really?
They have like from the original movie and everything.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
I mean, that stuff is so complex. It was a dying art, and then they started doing that thing on Netflix. And they're like, this is still a thing. Like, this
absolutely.
is truly an art that should be preserved.
I absolutely agree.
And it, you know, on film for many years back in the 80s and 90s, puppets was how you did a lot of interesting characters.
Absolutely.
And special effects.
Special effects, yeah. I was about to say
And
horror especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the just brilliant performance by Frank Oz in Star Wars of Yoda is almost unmatched.
Yeah.
Just because it's just like you don't believe it's a puppet. You know,
Right.
you forget that it's a puppet.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it. That's why when they came out with the newer ones and he's 3D, I'm like, it's so obvious that he's animated.
Yeah.
It's not moving right, you know?
Right.
He had this way about making him, you know, relatable and human almost. But
Giving them mannerisms.
right, yeah.
Right.
So it's just it's an art that should be preserved.
Yeah.
Not just in film. I think the kids go there all the time and do shows for them and stuff.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, that's one of their main sellers. Is they do these huge puppet shows.
Oh wow.
I just did one for a kids book called Stella Luna, I think.
Okay.
That sold out. It was before all the Corona, the Rona.
The Rona. It's only been like I think 12 weeks.
Yeah.
But so much has changed.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, live events gone. Like we there's moments that we think about going out to eat, and you're like, well, Uber Eats, I guess.
we order stuff if we have to. We have cooked more than ever,
right? Which
is really kind of awesome. And has been healthier for us in the long run. And
absolutely,
we're learning that this is the moment in our lives when our kids come to us and ask. This is our moment where when they don't eat their food, we're like, "What the hell are you doing?" Don't waste that. You don't know if you're gonna have some tomorrow. It could be Rona tomorrow.
You never know, man.
Because our parents did the same shit, and then we're looking at it going, "Man, we hated it when they said that." But now we're actually preserving this food.
Yeah.
Because we're afraid we might not get unemployment tomorrow, or we might not get this tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just unprecedented times, and growing up with my grandfather, who actually lived through the Depression. And grew his own food and all that stuff, which is amazing.
That is phenomenal. A lot of people are trying to get into that now.
My brother, I'm jealous. He's got, of course, his house is his. I'm renting still right now, but he's started a garden in the backyard, just movable. It's all in, containers and stuff. But I mean, he's gonna have peas and tomatoes and just everything
fresh.
And man, I can't tell you how much different a thing of vegetable soup tastes when it's fresh out of your backyard. My grandfather's soup and all of his vegetables were unmatched, and I could, like, anywhere I go, if I buy it from a store or anything, I could tell the difference.
Really?
Yeah. And it's almost like you can feel the nutrients.
Yeah.
Or something.
The earth, man.
Yeah, back to the earth, man. And my dad, see, that's the thing. It's so funny because my grandfather lived through the Depression, and then my dad grew up to be essentially a hippie.
No way.
Oh, yeah. He's a rock star, man.
That's awesome.
My dad's a rock star. He still is in my book. I mean, he had his day, but,
Time, man.
But I'll always brag on his... He's got stories, crazy stories. I've thought about making a documentary about his stories and his influence in the music world.
Wow.
I mean, you
should, man.
You've
already made a film.
Yes.
I wanted to get to that.
Yeah, man. We were in the middle of making a film before Rona.
Another one.
Anti-Rona came around.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of a short.
Okay.
And we had 2 scenes left to film. And then quarantine.
Oh, man.
And no one wanted to do it anyway. And I understand. I'm not like, let's go do it. And they're fight scenes. So you can't be like
distant
in each other's face.
Yeah.
And none of them wore masks because that's not the characters. So we're like, we can't do it. We have to wait. And we were going to submit it to Dragon Con. Now Dragon Con is canceled.
Right?
Yeah. Pretty sure. Damn. So we were like, shit. But it gives us time to work with the stuff we have, edit what we have.
Yeah.
And,
tighten it up.
So forth. But yes, I did make a film. God.
Well, how do you feel about it now? Because how many years ago?
Since 5 years now.
5 years.
Since we released it.
Since you released it. So you finished it?
Yes.
Okay. So looking back, I know how I feel whenever I look back at my work.
Yeah.
Just even 2 months ago.
Yes.
Let
You're
alone
like, oh, God.
5 years ago, right?
What the hell was I thinking?
Right?
I can't... I have a lot of things, that I notice, that I watch. Any artist, when they see something that they make, they're going to point out, that's...
Oh, absolutely.
Most people are not thinking about...
Oh, sure.
Because you're just so intimate with it for so long.
Yeah.
And I was just happy that I got the response that it did when we released it. We released it at the Plaza.
Oh, okay.
with an audience of about 100 people, which was more than I thought we would get. Honestly,
That's awesome.
I was expecting like, you know,
family,
friends.
Yeah.
I was like seeing people. I was like, who the hell are these people? Like, how did they find out about it? So it's friends of a friend of a friend. They all started like, I was like, before the movie started, I'm about to cry because my friends are like putting my stuff out there. Like,
that's dope, dude.
Getting these people to come see my movie.
Yeah. And this is the one you screened. Love My Country.
Love My Country.
Oh, wow.
3 years of hell on wheels to make, but I don't think I would ever. The things I would normally regret, I don't, because I learned more just by saying, "Screw it, I'm going to make this."
Yeah.
Than waiting.
Absolutely.
And making it perfect. And people said, "Don't." I had a lot of naysayers. That was my first sign.
Like people they didn't want you to do it?
They said you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't make your first film that's yours that you wrote and directed and ended up acting in a feature. They said you shouldn't do that. That's suicide. And I said, cool. So from my upbringing, that means I'm going to do it. Because you told me not to.
Right.
You know. So it was some of that. It was a lot of just my artistic mind is really kind of centered in visions that I have. And I grew up in a house of musicians. And I don't play anything. I'm a singer, but I don't. My dad plays guitar. My brother and dad both play guitar and piano. My brother can play many other instruments. My mother plays a little guitar and sings.
Okay.
So I was
just a
always
musical
around.
family.
Oh man, I was always around music.
Yeah.
And I was not a technical learner like they were. My brother's a very technical learner. I was a visual learner.
I gotcha.
So when I hear something or I receive information, and I was dyslexic too. So information goes around my left side and into this side of my brain. So when you're dyslexic, it's like here's a normal person's posts, right? Information goes from here to here. Mine's like this.
Okay.
It takes a lot longer because my right side is what processes it.
I see.
So I'll have stuff building up, waiting to answer. So I say that to say this. He's like, where is he going with this?
I love context, man.
Yeah. So I'll hear music or just even a sound, and it will weave into my mind, and then I will start envisioning what that sound, what story connects to that sound. And I'll have a vision of what it is. I'll hear a song and I'll see what it is that is should be on screen, or I just have a vision about it. I owe a lot of that to my grandmother, who just taught me how to be imaginative in general, how to focus on my imagination sometimes, and just to get out, and just to really. So, and I'll have these crazy vivid dreams. I tell people about these dreams, and they're like, how many dreams do you have?
Yeah.
Because a lot of my friends are like, I don't have a lot of dreams, and when I do, I don't really remember them. Dude, I don't know what's going on in my head, but I can wake up and just write down everything that I saw.
Really?
And in detail. I have several of them. Love My Country was a dream.
Is that right?
That I formed words and thoughts around.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Images that came to me, and I said, okay, I'm going to relate it to my own life. And I wrote it in a very dark place in my life.
Okay.
Because I was like, I need to focus my energy somewhere else.
Yeah. Positive.
Somewhere not where I want to kill myself, you know.
Well, shit, man.
And that's what came out.
Wow.
Because I have dealt with depression. I've dealt with suicidal thoughts and attempts and stuff like that. So I went, what should my outlet be? And I just started writing that script.
Damn.
And then when we started making the film, it was even more intense because the script wasn't very long, and I kept having these added things that I put in there. The film ended up being, almost a full 2 hours.
Yeah.
The script was only maybe 60 pages long.
Oh, okay. So you had some free reign in the editing room.
Yes. Yes. And I filmed some scenes that I wanted in the script didn't have completion.
Okay.
I wanted to complete some moments that weren't. I like if you show something, I believe the audience deserves a right to know, especially if it's big and on the screen and in their face. They deserve to see some sort of fruition from that moment.
Right.
At least with this story, I believe all stories are different. But this particular story, it was very run and gun. It was very no storyboards. It was just kind of like let's figure it out, and we'll have meetings, and I'll write up a basic shot list and whatnot.
Yeah, right.
Because we had a limited crew.
How big do you say it got for the shoot?
Crew wise?
Yeah.
I think the most we had was up to 5 or 6.
5 or 6?
And that was it.
Okay.
Not including people that helped us build. We built a set for the movie, which was the first time I ever did that. I mean,
that must have been fun.
It was fun, and we got to destroy it in the film because
Yeah.
it gets destroyed in the movie. So, hi, baby. It's a doggy.
She's like, did you really destroy it?
I did destroy it. I did it. It's okay. I promise.
My goodness.
So,
I'm sorry.
you can come over here. That's okay. So, I started in acting, and I started in just editing little videos here and there. So film just kind of, I didn't go to school for it. One of my partners in crime, and co-owner technically of the Great Wall Productions, he did go to school. So we have this interesting balance of, he has this knowledge of what school does for a filmmaker, and I'm like full on bootstraps, grassroots. I figured it out. I read Robert Rodriguez's books.
Oh man,
and
that guy can make a movie.
Yeah, and he's an indie god. I mean,
Right.
he's
Very guerrilla.
anybody who wants to like learn about filmmaking and they're worried about school or anything. I say, my first thing is first watch El Mariachi.
Oh yeah.
Or Desperado, whichever one. Second, just read his stuff because he teaches you some really basic shit about that you're worried about, like, oh, how do you do a track shot? It's like, well, figure it out.
Yeah.
Get a freaking wheelchair and find a way to get that tripod on there, you know?
Move it.
So I did a lot of those techniques, and I ended up building a lot of stuff. The first film me and him, Barna Lumpkin, made together was a sword fighting movie.
Okay.
In 2010.
Nice.
Called The Immortal Swordsman.
Oh, okay.
That he wrote, and we had just met, and he was like, "Oh man, I got all this camera gear that I bought." And
well, hell yeah.
I was shooting on a Panasonic AG100 mini DV video camera.
That's how you know it.
Yeah,
that was our first introduction too, man.
Yes,
DV tapes.
And I thought it was the future, man.
Right.
You know, you go back to like Back to the Future or something. You're like, this is it.
Yeah.
And now you're like, this is
a portable
the most difficult. Studio. Like Firewire is the dumbest, most time-consuming bullshit I've ever dealt with.
Expensive too,
and very expensive.
Yeah.
But we filmed it. I helped him. I shot it. I built equipment to make a track dolly on. I should have brought pictures, but a track dolly on roller derby wheels and
nice.
And PVC pipe.
Yeah,
10-foot PVC pipe, roller derby wheels, L bracket. There it goes. And then I built it big enough to where the crane that I had, I bought this little metal crane, for I don't know how much per Pro-Am crane or something.
Yeah.
I built it big enough so the crane could sit on top of it.
Oh my God.
So we did these weird, crazy, like I was able to hold the crane and do this track thing, you know. And we had this little amount of time to make this thing for this film festival at Georgia Perimeter College, which is now just Georgia State. They bought it up.
Right.
They call it Georgia Perimeter at Georgia State or whatever. I didn't go to this college. You know, I helped direct because he was in it, and I helped film it, and he wrote it. It was still his baby, but we won first place at this film festival. And from that moment on, I was just like, have you seen Mr. Robot?
Oh, yeah.
Where he goes,
right, yeah.
That was me for like weeks. I was just like, we did something.
Yeah.
People liked it. I have to continue doing this.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's something really calling. I didn't know if it was acting, and I love acting, but I was like, there's something in me that has to create more. I have to be. It's almost a controlled thing too. You feel this need to like control the story and get your point across in a way. But from that moment on, I was like, I'm not going to stop doing this. And then, you know, a few years later, I said, all right, I'll write a feature. Screw it.
I'll make my own movie.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
So, and we're writing, I'm writing stuff now that I'm going to try to do while people are still have to stay at home.
Yeah.
But my camera's got like dead pixels and crap. So.
Oh no. What are you filming on now?
Well, I still got my old camera. I've been borrowing cameras to make movies. But I shot Love My Country entirely on a Canon 60D.
Okay.
Which is like a notch down from like the 5D.
Right.
But it's still, it got the job done.
Yeah, dude. It's a notch up of my first camera.
Yeah.
It's a T3i.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We use that as a secondary, like if we're doing a shot where we wanted two angles, we would use the T3i. And I bought these glass lenses, these old FD glass lenses from like the 70s. And I got an adapter. And when you couple that camera, it's still a pretty powerful camera, but you couple that with that lens, you may be losing a little stop of light, but you get this almost film-like glow on the digital, surface that you're not used to. So it created this really interesting look for the film. And people were always asking me, how'd you get that glow? I was like, I didn't do that in post. That was just the lens.
That was the lens, yeah.
It's almost this dreamy kind of look to a lot of the shots.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of them now, man. And it looks very, very unique.
Yeah.
More filmic than a digital camera would be able to do. Yeah.
And that was our goal. And some of the stuff we did in post, we added a little grain or something, or we brought the frame lines in.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I said, I want to get as much as we can do with the camera and the lens before we drop it in post, because I'm going to have to deal with post. And me and one other guy were messing with post, essentially. Yeah. So that took the longest. It was just
that's how it
editing
is.
and editing.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of backwards from a lot of people. I like having songs before I start editing.
No, that's fair, man.
And a lot of guys are like, no, you need to let... if you have a composer, I completely agree. You got to let them kind of take it and then hear it.
Sure.
But with this film, I didn't have a composer. I did have my brother's music, various different platforms. I had other friends' music that I put in there. And I used classical music and other stuff like that. That's probably one of the reasons. That is the reason we can't sell the film, but we can put it out to the public, because there are music rights issues there. Yeah. I just said, you know what? For this film, I want people to see it.
Right.
I'm not really worried about that, and I'm going to do what comes to me. I'm not going to hold myself back.
There you go.
And part of me now goes, well, I should have just found something else that was royalty free or whatever and gone with it. But it was a learning experience. I can't go back.
Right.
And I got what I wanted. I got the image I wanted. I got the sound I wanted.
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating story because there was a lot going on in between that. I mean, we do have a whole documentary about just filming. I don't know how the film got made. It's a freaking miracle we even made it.
Yeah.
Because of our limitations.
Man.
And drama and
you were telling me a little bit about that. How you were making it in the middle of working, but then you left your job.
I just left my job. I was at a thrift store.
Uh-huh.
And my direct manager was like, you just got to do what you got to do, man. I don't care. Like, he's super supportive. Some of his music actually in the film.
Nice.
And I got a lot of my props from that thrift store. So,
well, there you go.
And I got my discount for working there.
Win-win.
So, and he actually helped provide and make some of the costumes for the film. He's an amazing, very talented guy. But so I was like, I can't work this job and make this movie. The movie there's too much work to be done.
Yeah.
It would take me forever.
Years.
Yeah. So, and 3 years people's like, well, that's long. I was like, I mean, it took them 3 years to make several movies.
Yeah.
You know, that's really not, you look at like Lord of the Rings, it's like 10 years to make all of them.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they
3 years is nothing.
They started in like 97 or something.
It's
like crazy.
It's crazy. So I was like, I'm out. I got to do this thing.
Yeah.
And I'll try to get little jobs here and there. And that was good because we got a lot done, but there was still a lot of pressure because I didn't have a job. I was relying on people to pick me up and take me places, you know, or, you know, I don't have gas money so there were tense moments where it was like, I'll try not to be, you know, a burden on people. So, I would try to get a job for a little while.
Yeah.
And then I'd stop, I'd go back to the film. But ultimately, I spent primarily that 3 years completely engrossed in that film.
That's awesome.
And I just couldn't. I said, this has to get out. I had to get it out of my head.
Yeah.
And on the screen, because if I don't, I'll go mad.
Yeah. You had to get it out, man.
So, yeah. I probably shouldn't talk about that, but.
Oh, you can talk about anything, man.
This is Joe Rogan's.
That's right.
Just let it out.
Let it out.
Don't worry about the publicity.
Oh my God. How many followers you got on Twitter, bro?
I think
we're all right. I think we're all right.
I don't think I have a Twitter.
No?
But no.
You don't need it.
I don't need it.
It's okay.
I got the Instagrams.
Instagrams, yeah.
I was the lead actress and I were in a relationship.
Oh, okay. That's pretty common though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I was casting a film and I was trying to be more than I was. I was like, whoever I cast, I mean, this character has cancer, is dealing with cancer, right? Mm-hmm. So I was trying to find some actress who'd be willing to shave her head.
Okay.
Like an idiot, thinking, yeah, some actress is going to shave her head for a guy who's not paying her to do a movie.
Right.
That was my first mistake. Because that's their livelihood. They got to take headshots. Yeah. They got to have their hair. Like, what was I thinking? Oh, what the hell's wrong with me? So we put all these ads out, and we got like one person came in to read. And one other, I was like, okay, well, no one showed up. One other person came in, and it was her, Jordan. And she drove all the way from Kentucky just to do an in-person audition. And to then turn around and drive back.
Really?
Yes, in Chamblee.
How did she hear about it?
I put it out, and she saw it on Facebook.
Online.
Okay,
and
she was like, feature film. She liked the concept. She drove down, and I was like, what? And then she nails this audition, and I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna work, but she's good. She was good. So that happened, and it got romanticized in my head, and we got, and
as it does.
So it was. There were tense times, and eventually when we split up, it was, difficult because it was before the movie was made or finished editing. So here I am, this hopeless romantic,
of course,
I'm
with you there,
just
man.
dying.
Yeah.
My whole life is over. I gotta make this movie. And back when I thought, I had to, I'm half of you and you're half of me, and and then I realized, no, I need to be a whole person and meet a whole person.
That's right. Yeah.
And help each other balance out.
It's good to grow, man.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
And it was, it was dramatic and all, but I changed the ending of the film because of our breakup.
Really?
Yeah. It was supposed to be a very happy ending.
It was supposed to be. Okay.
And I even told her at one point, I made it happy for her.
Okay.
When,
Uh-huh.
So when we screened the movie.
She was there.
She's there.
She's there.
Everyone's there.
Oh, my God.
And it ends, and she's like, and I went, yeah. I went with the first ending.
Oh, God.
I decided to go with the first ending.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. I don't think it was entirely because of our relationship. I think it was a better creative choice too.
Sure.
Just because sometimes happy endings are great, but this isn't some formulaic movie.
Sure.
This is about a guy trying to free himself from his own mind, and this woman helps him.
Yeah.
Just ending it on some happy-go-lucky, they live happily ever after note didn't feel right to me.
Right. To the story. Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and I remembered that I told her that I was going to do it happy. But then I was like, So it was a combination of things. I'm not saying I changed it because we split up. I'm saying that was definitely in the back of my head when I did it. I wasn't like at the computer like, you bitch, I'm going to change the ending.
Now you're really going to pay.
How about this?
Export.
I'm going to deep fake all your scenes.
Oh, my God. You can do that
I'm
now.
going to do Jennifer Lawrence instead. She's from Kentucky, too.
Oh, my God.
So.
But that's good that it served the story.
It did. And, we're not on like bad terms or anything.
That's even better.
We had our little moment, and it had its dramas and its ups and downs. But if I hadn't split up when I did, I wouldn't have met my wife.
Is that right?
Because I was in my slump, and my friend is like, dude, you gotta get out of the house, man.
You have to leave, man.
You gotta come to this Halloween party with me. And I was like, Halloween party. And I was like, where? And he was like, at one of your ex's house. And I was like, so you want me after a breakup to go to a different ex house for a Halloween party? This sounds like a great combination of failing or to fail. And he was like, just don't worry about her. I wrote part of the film about that ex too.
Oh my God.
Funny. So there's a lot of drama
in
this film. This trio thing on a love triangle. So I go to this party reluctantly. and my other ex is there, and that's the one I didn't want to ever talk to again. I can talk to Jordan now. We're fine on a professional level too. It's just like a film. We're film people. You know? But this person, I just, man, why would you? But now I'm really happy he convinced me to go. I saw a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time, and then, unbeknownst to me, my future wife walks in the room. So that was meant to be.
There you go. Were you two dressed up?
I was dressed up. I was trying to deal with my sadness with because this whole film just reminded me of my relationship at that time. Now I just look at it as my film, but I was dressed up in a character that I was trying to make a web series about. Okay. So no one knew who I was. So meta.
Oh my God.
But I'm trying to promote this web series. I'm trying to bury the past and make something new.
Right.
And she's there in her 1950s pinup cherry dress.
Ooh, shit.
Yeah, and she bleached her hair blonde and had the blonde curl thing going on.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, yeah. I'm going to talk to that one. She came with friends and stuff, but, you know, it just kind of happened.
That's awesome.
One of the guy's brother, the brother of the guy who's the cinematographer on Love My Country was there, too.
Oh, okay.
So there was all these, like, correlations, but it's an interesting story. At the time, I was working at a company that builds pipe organs for churches. Yeah. I was a builder at a pipe organ. It's another dying art that you don't think about at all.
Yeah.
Until you go to into like a college hall or something.
Some big church. I remember seeing one growing up, and to your point,
they're amazing.
Beautiful. And they go around the building sometimes, man.
Yeah. It's probably the most difficult job I've ever worked in my life.
I bet.
And I've worked heating and air. I've worked all kinds of different things. My dad was heating and air contractor. This job was harder than that because it's art and construction, and you're dealing with. It's hard to describe.
Yeah.
Just the level of mastery that goes into this process.
I can only imagine, man.
And it's music too, so it's like
the tone has to be right.
Tuning them is a pain in the ass, and so it's just that was a pretty great experience. But I was working there at the time, and Caitlin is in school for music, so I used that as my in.
There you go.
I was like, yeah, I build pipe organs, and most girls are like, what the she's like, really?
Oh,
wow.
Those are.
I sing to those. I sing with those, and I was like, really? Okay.
Breaking the ice.
If she had been anyone else,
it'd
have been like, cool. You know, I thought it was cool.
It sounds like she did too.
She
man.
did.
That's awesome.
Because she likes classical music. So that's me. I don't like go. I'm gonna try to do what they like. I'm just gonna talk about something that interests me and hope. Something sticks. And it did.
It did. That's the best way to be, man. That's the best way to be. Because I remember growing up not doing that at all.
Oh, man. Yeah. When I was a lot younger, it was just kind of like, I got to make sure people care. And now I'm just
put on a show.
I don't care anymore.
Now it's just be yourself.
Maybe to a fault, but I don't. I'm just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to prove myself to anybody.
Yeah, man. That's one of the positives of getting older, I feel. It
is.
You start to realize it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't really. Yeah, you let people decide who you grow to be in, who you grow up to be. If you continue to assume that they have what's in your best interest at heart, and a lot of times they don't. Some people do, and sometimes it takes a really good person to help you get out of that muck.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And just say, because my goal is to be an uninhibited man.
Yeah.
I don't need, like, I can take in information and I can process it. I can stand back.
There you go.
I can review it. I'm not just going to, a lot of people just, especially nowadays.
Oh, it's instinct, man.
We need better communicators. People like Fred Rogers come to mind. People that can just see into your soul almost and just kind of pull out and say, hey, just think about this. Just take a minute of silence.
Yeah.
And we live in so much noise now and so much mess. Being a good communicator is key, I think, in this day and age to redefine the millennial generation. Because we have to find that place of quiet, and where do we recoup? Where do we get back into a one-on-one like we're doing now and just talk things out and listen?
That's the big one.
The biggest problem, I think, in our generation is we're more willing, we're sitting and waiting to respond before we hear what someone else has to say.
The full thought.
Like I'm going to want to say my point, so I'm going to wait till you're done, and then I'm going to say my point. I'm not going to relate it to what you said because I wasn't listening.
Right. Just want to hear themselves talk.
I just want to hear myself talk.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, how do we get back to a place where we can just respectfully communicate again. And you can go into all kinds of science and stuff like that. That's another problem. Everyone's a scientist. Everyone is this now that you have
they're
a
doctors.
voice on Facebook.
Yeah.
People need to go back to, okay, what am I good at? And how do I use what I'm good at to actually have a voice?
Right.
Rather than just talking about everything.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too. I'll just want to say stuff on Facebook.
Oh, absolutely. I'll share something or retweet with a comment.
But if everyone has a voice, who really has a voice?
Yeah.
Or do we really have leaders anymore?
Well, it's weird, man. That the way things are shaping now politically.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to be a character.
Yeah.
In order for you to be either listened to or.
Tell me about it.
And I never understood what people would say when they talk about Trump era politics.
Yeah.
But if you look at just the last 4 years in comparison to maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Totally different playing field.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It is wild.
Even like Biden or
back when he was low key, and now it's
super low.
Now he's all in the spotlight, and everyone's like,
yeah.
"Screw Joe Biden," you know.
I mean, it is what it is. I like to think I don't have any political leanings.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just more about, well, I think this because it's the way I feel. If that makes me one way or another,
Right.
That's not up to me. It's up to you. Like with masks.
Yeah.
People are now politicizing just wearing one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of like the way they look regardless.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Someone said, I don't want to. Someone was saying that men don't want to wear masks because it's not cool.
I saw that.
And
it's like,
and I think my comment was, if looking like you're gonna perform a fatality in the dog food aisle is pretty damn cool, if you ask me. Because I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it's like Scorpion wins. You know,
I love that, man.
You know, it's just kind of like, just don't worry about it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like don't make a big fuss about it.
Yeah.
But we're very quick to anger, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's
His camera's out?
Yeah, his camera went in.
You know what? That's a problem.
Okay.
Man, I got you, bro. I got you.
It's all good.
Me on screen and an empty chair. We could put the dog in
You
the
could-
empty chair.
You could edit that part out, maybe.
Yeah.
There we go.
You
Easy
should put
peasy.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in my place.
He's out of focus.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's like extremely out
Hey,
of focus.
That's how I like you, bro.
What the hell's wrong with you? I'm the star. Put me in focus, damn it.
You are in focus now, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming by, dude. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
I know we were talking about you coming on for a while now.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
about a month or so.
Yeah, I saw Michael's my buddy, man. He was in my wedding.
Yeah?
Actually. Michael's one of my best friends.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys meet? Through acting?
Mm-hmm. So I was in the middle of making Love My Country, and we decided in 2015 we were going to try to do a short for each month, just a short film.
Okay.
We didn't end up making a full 12, but we made a lot. So it was a good little push to learn a lot.
Yeah. Just to create.
Yeah, just make stuff and learn and so on. And Michael, I saw a film Michael did, and I'm not going to call the filmmaker out, but the film wasn't very good at all.
What about it?
And I can't say any, I mean, I've made bad movies too, but I was just like, this is really bad. It's supposed to be a mobster movie, and it just didn't make any sense. But in the midst of this bad movie, right?
Uh-huh.
Please don't kill me if you see this. I'll sure you look back on stuff too and go, man, that was bad. You know. Anyways, I saw Michael doing really good.
Well, that's great.
In the midst of this like thing I could not decipher for the life of me why it was happening. Michael was like this like, you know, you watch bad movies, but then you're like, man, that actor though, you know.
Yeah, right.
And that was Michael, and I was like, I want that guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna get that guy in something.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't know where I was going. I met him at a film festival when we did a 48-hour film festival
Oh my word.
thing, and I even ended up meeting him. He was in a different film. I met him and I said, hey, you know Michael? He's like, yeah, I'll do whatever, man.
Right. Real chill.
Let's film something.
Yeah.
And we just kind of clicked, and now he's been in like several of my shorts.
That's awesome.
He's my Johnny Depp.
There you go. In everything.
I'm Tim Burton, and I'm like, I want to put him in that again. And my friends are like, what the hell? He's good. Okay. He's very talented.
I think he is.
I always recommend him to people. People are like, why do you keep recommending this guy? He's like my favorite white male actor. Okay.
Oh, man.
Got a bromance.
There you go. That's good to have, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with him a few times before, but this year I was on a short him and Kimberly were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Right, for Valentine's Day.
Uh-huh. Because she wrote that, didn't she?
They both did.
They both wrote it.
From what I understand, it was like both of them putting it together.
Jillian McLendon was in that, who is
Yes.
a co-star in Love My Country, who does great.
Yeah,
She
did
doesn't
great.
act much anymore, but she nailed it. Jillian, you're awesome.
She is.
I love
She
you.
is. Great photographer as well.
Oh, man.
Very
good.
Nice. Yeah. But that was a fun one. It was long, though. It was long.
Was it?
Oh, bro.
I don't think I saw the whole thing. I saw, like, clips.
It was like 22 minutes.
Really?
So, yes.
Wow.
It was pretty long. Not throwing anything against it.
Yeah.
It's funny because whenever they recruited me to help out, it's a I always have the question whenever someone reaches out for my help, because I do it for a living.
Yeah.
And whenever someone comes and asks me, I'm assuming, well, they want me to help them, like help them, like with equipment and directing and everything. And I don't mind.
Yeah.
I've wanted to do it for a while because I haven't done much shorts.
I know that game.
Right. So whenever they asked me, I was like, well, where would you like for me to fit in?
Everywhere.
They're like, whatever you want. I was like, okay.
Okay.
So I brought all the equipment and I got there. But the first thing I suggested was trimming down the script.
Yeah.
But they were adamant.
I've been there.
Yeah. And it's cool. It's their thing.
Yeah.
And they let me have some creative reins whenever it came to actually doing the production.
Yeah.
Which was good. But yeah, man.
I've definitely been there because you got to think sometimes, like, festivals, they only like certain lengths.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between 10 and 15 minutes is kind of the niche for a lot of these because they got to watch so many films.
They have to slot them.
Yeah.
And that's already tough enough.
If it's a pilot, maybe you could need a little longer. Yes.
Yeah. I think for them it was just strictly like just a YouTube.
Just a YouTube thing. Yeah.
Which I can dig. I mean, hell, this stuff that we're doing now isn't too commercial.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's definitely an audience for it.
I love this medium. I've considered doing something like this myself.
Yeah. You should, dude.
Before I did anything ever, I sat in my room with cassette tapes with my friends and recorded stories, and we acted like we're on a radio show.
No way.
And did all the voices.
Oh, come on.
So we'd be like, welcome to our radio show. We're giving out free tickets to the, back then, what is it, Genuine concert,
Right,
you know?
Right, yeah. Jeez,
Who the hell's Genuine? And there's like, oh, we got a caller. Hey, what do you want? You know. Hey, how are you? It's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God.
I need 4 tickets to Genuine so I can beat him up. You know? And we would just go and go and go.
Oh,
and I developed my character acting ability just doing
through that. Yeah.
So I'm a mockingbird. I pick up on all kinds of different
That's
celebrity
awesome.
voices after that. I got all these things I want to do, man.
I'm with you.
I'm a Renaissance man that can't. I need to do them all at some point.
I completely agree. That's my problem is, like you, I want to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
I want to do, right now I'm leaning more in towards gaming.
Yeah.
And
beautiful art.
Beautiful, man. And it's probably, in my mind, I love film.
Yeah.
But it's a very focused way to tell a story in my mind.
It's so involved.
It is, and if you think about it, you go and you sit in front of a TV or a theater, and you watch something that, even though it took thousands of man hours from several people, it was unified in more than you know often a unified vision, right?
Yeah.
So, but with a game, even though depending on the narrative, it can be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is picking up a controller that thousands of people have had their hands in, and they're controlling.
Yeah.
You know, that to me is way more intimate.
And the best games really make you. It's more immersive than anything. You know, film can be immersive, but I think it shouldn't focus on being immersive. It should just focus on telling the story.
I agree.
If the story is immersive, sure. You know, if they want to do like Avatar, where they make you feel like you're there and everything, cool. But not like Hardcore Henry. That doesn't really work. You know what I mean? Like, that was just an aneurysm waiting to happen. Me and my wife watched
Wild
that.
experiment, though.
Oh, yeah. Me and my wife watched. And there's great stuff in it. But we watched it and we were like, oh, man, this is worse than, like, Cloverfield with the shaking. And it was just kind of like, okay, I get what they tried to do, but that could have been a game.
It probably should have.
It should have been a game.
Yeah. I've said that several times where, you know, I'll see a movie, maybe this should be a game. Or I'll even play a game and like, maybe they should have just made this
a movie. Yes. Game sucks.
Yeah.
But you play really good games and you're like, I don't think they could. I think that I would be mad if they made a movie out of this game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like Zelda, they will never. I don't think they've been asked so many times to make like tons of features, and they always turn it down because they don't want the mystique of playing the game and feeling like you're Link, and they don't want that to go away in any way.
I agree.
And you get some actor in there, and you're like, oh, he doesn't look like Link.
You go in a bias.
You're right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I agree. It's tough though because I have my own reservations about a lot of Nintendo franchises. Yeah. But then it's the same way with Sony. Yeah. And Microsoft is just there. Please like us. Please. And I love Xbox. I love Microsoft. They're valiantly, you know, going very prosumer. Yeah. You know, with their backwards compatibility.
Right. Yeah.
But Sony, even though they have a monopoly of, you know, they've almost templated their stories now, like God of War and Last of Us and Horizon.
Oh, Last of Us.
Wonderful. But they all look and play the same.
They really do, yeah.
They're third-person action games. Beautiful.
Got their niche.
They got their niche. They're all very, you know, dramatic. You know, that's their thing is, you know, very cinematic and dramatic. I love that.
Last of Us is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, God of War was great. But you're right. They're kind of like Disney. They found a formula that works. Yeah. And they kind of tack that on their movies or their content rather. Yeah. And they're like, this works. Let's be safe.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, to be honest, there's way worse ways to be safe in.
Yeah.
Because at least they're fun games. Right. You know? Yeah. I love God of War.
Oh, man.
I mean, Unreal design-wise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I would never... 10 out of 10 on both of those games, honestly. Just story-wise. Yeah. Last of Us was so immersive for me.
Oh, I'm with you. Beautiful. And they're trying to make that a film. And you just play the game and you realize, to your point, you really shouldn't.
You just don't.
You don't.
The voice acting is so good.
Yeah, already. And Uncharted, too.
Yeah.
You play those?
Yeah, I just started getting back into it. I never played them, and I recently got the first one because I wanted to start, again, me being an idealist, start from the beginning.
Same, dude. Same. Every time I wanted to replay the Mass Effect trilogy, I'm like, I have to start from the first game.
I get mad at my friends when they started playing games out of order. And they're like, leave me alone. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But it's, gaming is high art.
I agree.
Because there's a lot that goes into it. And a lot of people just see it as I just want to play a game and have fun, but gamers want an experience. Yeah. Gamers want to truly, I mean, you don't escape more than you do when you're in a video game.
Absolutely agree.
And though film is my love, I'd love to be a part of some kind of gaming, do a voiceover, some kind. I want to get into doing that because I, for years, have wanted to do that and always been told to do that. Because of so many characters or whatever. some are just impressions,
The
but
voices.
some are characters that I came up with that I was like, this could be a cartoon. You know, I could make a whole cartoon series out of this crap.
You should, man. The mic loves you. You sound great.
My buddy Jeff Huth, I don't know if you know him, great actor. He's also in my wedding. All of my guys in my wedding. I'm just gonna talk about you guys. All this bromance going on.
Oh man!
But he's this 6'3", ripped, freaking soft teddy bear on the inside. But he's like this huge guy. He's like a knight at medieval times.
Oh man!
And he's just a great guy, sweet guy, and a good actor. He and I have this thing, and he pulled me aside at my wedding, and he's like, you know, I don't do this with any of my other friends but you. He's got this deep voice. Me and him will call each other on the phone, and the entire conversation, we're not us, we're someone else. So he'll call me as Arnold.
Oh my God.
Or Jack Nicholson or something,
gotcha.
And we'll go back and forth, and he'll call me like, hey, is this John Nicholson? And I'll go, you mean Jack Nicholson? And we start arguing as Jack and Arnold for like 30 or 40 minutes.
Oh my God.
and then eventually we'll break and laugh, you know, so start laughing about stuff. But seriously, like, I called him one day because I had just gotten good at my Jack impression.
There you go.
And I was like, you know, I always wanted to be in that show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm going to give you a little taste.
Oh my God.
And I start doing the song. In West Philadelphia, born and raised, the playgrounds where I spent most of my days. You just breathe. It's like he's out of breath all the time.
All the time.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing. All cool.
Oh my God.
Playing some basketball outside the school. A couple of guys were up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood.
Oh my God.
And he's just rolling on the floor laughing. He's like, dude, what the hell is happening? And it's just, dude, I need more friends I can call and just practice voices on like that.
Absolutely. That's great practice.
I said, dude, we need to just record this crap and like put it online somewhere. I think people would dig it.
Why not, man? There's an audience for everyone out there.
Right.
There's almost 8 billion people here.
Yeah.
Someone's going to listen.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time and pressure, man.
And I've always wanted characters you never thought would talk. So I was like, I got to do that. It's like, what if Beavis and Butthead talked to, you know, I don't know, somebody. Bragg from...
Brack. Oh, dude. They just put that on HBO Max.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. The whole show.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Space Ghost.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast. I never understood it when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was like,
what is this crap?
I felt like I shouldn't be watching it.
Because it was later at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they all dealt with like weird.
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Hey. Leave me alone.
Oh, my God.
I want a sandwich. Yeah. That was one of my favorites. And then Beavis and Butthead, of course.
Right.
Hey, Butthead. This is going to be cool.
Beavis.
Hey, Beavis. Check it out. This chick has 3 boobs.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. How many butts does she have? So
Those are good impressions, man.
I would just sit at home and do this crap. My mom thought I was crazy. She thought I was homeschooled too. So I'm in my room with my cassettes doing this crap. And she's like, what the hell's wrong? We got to get our son therapy. But it just turned into this, like, I was very... I had to learn. I learned differently, and I had to learn by doing,
right,
and seeing. I was very visual.
Yeah.
So that kind of just naturally happened.
Yeah.
Like, she could read my brother a story, and he would just sit and listen. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. So she said, "Okay, I want you to act out what I read." Then I retained it. because I did it.
You're involved.
I'm involved, and I remember everything about the story after that because I was doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the actor in me. You know, I have to. I just have to process things differently than other people.
But that's awesome, though, man.
Yeah. I'll never. I always want to go back to some medium where I'm doing voices or doing something like this.
Yeah.
I want to do a podcast. I don't know what it'd be about, but I'd love to try.
Well, we're still trying to figure that ourselves. Because I love having yourself guests come in and just talking.
For sure. I appreciate it. You've interviewed some pretty heavy hitters in Atlanta that I've either worked with or know. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a small town, man. Especially in production.
It's an honor to be here.
No, I appreciate you coming, man. I really do. If you know anyone,
like I don't belong here.
No, bro. If you made a feature, I don't want to hear anyone say anything. I've been wanting to do it for such a long time.
Make a feature,
yeah. But the perfectionist in me just always just stops it. And now that
it's hard,
it's tough. I'm in production, and I'm trying.
If you need some help, I have no job right now.
Well, that's good to know because we're always hiring. It's always freelance,
right?
Yeah.
I will help you, sir.
You'll have to let me know your day rate. What do you prefer to do on set?
It really just depends on the project.
Yeah.
Once I know what the project is, well, I'm very I'm of the belief that every job on set is no more important than the other.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people try to puff themselves up because I'm the director or I'm this. It's like, but without that guy holding the lights, and sometimes you're wearing a lot of hats, but without the team, the film is not made.
No, I agree.
So I try to stay out of that mentality. I like to direct the most. I like writing, but I've got in later years I'm more interested in maybe co-writing than writing the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Helping maybe with some ideas and then direct, because once you're on set, that's where the real story happens anyway.
Sure. Some would argue that even in the edit room,
it changes again.
Yeah.
You could do a lot of stuff.
You can do what they did with American Beauty. They filmed that as a comedy.
Yeah.
And then on the editing room, like, I think we have something
dark.
else.
It's dark as fuck. Yeah, and it really is. But I'm an odd one, man. I try not to be pinpointed by folks. I like to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, that's good though. and to your point in this business, and I don't know what it is about if it was always like this, but I find it that you don't get hired unless you're able to multitask in one way or another, which is pretty wild. I think
the best producers too. You want some TP? Your dog wants TP. Oh, dude. Here you go.
It'll be like
come here.
Gore everywhere.
Can't have it. It's currency. It's like
that's right.
Eating money.
Yeah.
But to my point, wait, where was I going?
We were talking about crew.
Yes. So I think the best producers around have done most of the little jobs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Producers that claim to be producers that have only done one or two things, I'm like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
That you're a producer, because it's just like any leader. If you're from the back pointing,
oh right,
and you don't actually understand the lighting, at least to a basic degree. Mm-hmm. I produced a film, and there was a lot of things I had to pick up that people didn't know, and I didn't start as a producer. I just started as a cinematographer. And the guy was like, "Oh man, I don't know." He had a very small crew. He wasn't paying a lot, but I didn't care. I just wanted to film. I was dying to film. I ended up finding locations. I ended up helping him set up lighting. I ended up just doing all these different jobs. And he was like, "Man, I really appreciate you." I was like, "Man, I'm just trying to make this thing happen."
Yeah.
And then I said, "You gotta find," because he had a producer on set.
Right.
Guy didn't know anything about the lighting, didn't know anything about what the grips were doing, what the makeup person was doing.
Yeah. No schedule.
And here I am giving tips out, and I'm just supposed to be the cinematographer.
Yeah.
So I went, just give me a producer credit.
Right. Oh, okay. There you go.
And a cinematography credit, and we'll go from there.
Hell yeah.
You know, but it's because for so many years I've worked on so many little short films, and then the feature just taught me so much of what to do, what not to do.
Absolutely.
The experience of that is unmatched to me, to a lot of things. And so when I get involved in something, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I put all my energy in there, and people are like, you need to slow down. You need to stop.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
And I'm like, you didn't even eat breakfast. And I'm like, I don't care. The shot's not perfect.
Oh, my God.
But I found a good balance between being able to compromise the little things for my overall vision.
Mm-hmm.
That's really difficult when you're a director, because, like you said, perfectionism will eat you alive.
Absolutely.
So I had to go, okay, I don't have this, but I do have this, and I can make my original vision just as good.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but I found a way to do it with several of those little projects.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
it's a balance, man, because especially the first few years I got started.
Yeah.
No matter what I did, what I had in my head, what I put on the paper, when you get on set,
it's out the window.
It's out the window.
Yeah.
From a visual sense, like it never looks the way. Like I think the last short I did, it was a 48. Funny enough.
Oh wow, yeah.
But
those are stressful.
They're stressful. Whew. But I had written 3 stories.
Yeah.
Just outlined, the plot, the thematics, the characters, and all that. 3 different ways with 3 different single locations. And I wanted to have a big crew, like 10, 15 people.
Yeah, of course.
But it's
always want to.
Yeah, but it's a 48, and I'm not paying them.
Yeah.
So I was able to get catering on the cheap. And for my shoots, always 8-hour days, never anything over for just me.
That's good.
Unless I'm paying.
Right.
Then it's
That's
a
a good motto,
different.
man.
It's a little different.
It's a good motto.
But that day, we wrote the script. I storyboarded everything. It was the first time that it got close.
Yeah.
It got close, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought I was crazy. But no. It just takes some experience.
Right.
You have to really understand how, to your point.
My first 48 was rough. There's too many chiefs. Couldn't figure out who was who. And
absolutely.
I wanted to be the director, or I wanted to do this, and it's just kind of like.
Yeah, that's why I always ask now is like, well, where do you
want to be? Yeah, let's try it. Yeah, I'm very partial to directing, and I love acting. Those are my 2 probably favorite things. About film.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm down if you're down.
Always, always. Well, what I'm interested now is I'm writing my own thing, but or several, but I'm trying to get my template in a pretty solid place.
Yeah.
So I've learned I love 5 acts, 5-act structure.
Mm-hmm.
I love having a prologue and epilogue, and then bam, your actual story.
Right.
And I like each act to have everything a full story has. So if anyone were to watch just one act, they get a whole story out of it.
Right.
So protagonist, antagonist.
Love that.
Desire, journey, climax, resolution, all that. Trying to figure out that formula. But right now, this year, I'm just helping others with their stuff.
Yeah.
Because to your point, it's good to get out there.
It is.
It's good to help out.
Well, I mean, I got stuff for you.
I'll be more than happy to help, man.
I did just sitting on the shelf, man. Ready
That's
to
cool.
go.
I helped out with a girl, Riley, with 2 shorts. We did February, and it was Kimberly and Michael in January, and been doing this since January, trying to just stay busy, create stuff.
Yeah, you need someone to. You always have to have people that just want to create something. Man.
Yeah.
I can't. I have to create. Having a creative outlet, not technically, it actually physically saved my life. I was homeless for a period of my life, living in my car, and And I would stay at friends' houses here and there, and my mom. It was right after my parents' divorce.
Okay.
A lot of crap happened, a lot of ultimatums, and I just said I'm out.
Yeah.
And I just, it wasn't that I was technically forced out, but I chose to not live anywhere. Yeah. And my mom found out about an acting class, just out of nowhere, and she was like, I want you to go check out this acting class, And I was like, whatever, Mom, cool, okay, I guess.
Fine.
Okay. That's better than just being a nomad, which I was.
How old were you?
17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I went to this acting class. I met the man who pretty much inspired me to be the creative I am today. His name is Marty Barrett. He taught at Callum Fine Arts Center and the Woodruff Arts Center for many, many years.
Okay.
Acting. He's also a pastor of a church. So I go to this church and I'm thinking, this isn't Callum Wald. This is the Woodruff. And I'm like, what in the world? Well, I grew up in church, so I wasn't like nervous. But I went in there and here's this guy working with these people intimately, and people are cursing and like doing all this stuff. And I'm like, this is a church. And then I didn't know he was a pastor, But again, the guy continues to blow my mind to this day. But he helped me. It was therapy for me to act on stage, because I was able to deal with emotions that I wasn't able to deal with when I was out there on my own.
Right.
And then he saw some of my editing work and some of my film, little things I did on little mini DVs way back.
Right.
And he was like, I want you to film something for me.
Ooh, shit.
And it's my first paid gig ever in my whole life.
Oh, man.
And it was him proposing to his wife because he never got her a ring when they got married.
No way.
So she's getting a ring so sweet.
Oh,
he took her to the spot where he proposed.
Yeah.
Told her they were doing something else.
Of course.
Set up this little table with a red cloth and all her favorite things on the table, and she thought so. She's totally blown away, and he's distracting her with all her little favorite things, and then he pulls the ring out.
Dude.
And I captured all this thing, and I filmed it and filmed all these other little locations and edited it together. Gave it to him like this. Here. Never done anything like this in my life.
Whoa. That's a hell of a first gig, man.
They call me. Yeah, I'm going, if I screw this up, it's bad. They're going to watch this forever. They call me weeping on the phone. And I went, what? Is it that bad? And they were like, no, it's that good. And I was like, oh, thank God. And that moment, again, very defining. That moment in the film festival was like, man, I think I can interpret things on screen somehow, and I need to continue trying to do that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't just film them. I filmed where they were after they had left. I filmed like a little dove. I did these little,
Yeah.
I added music and I did all this stuff, and I just kind of did what came to me. So he, to this day, inspires me to and pushes me to be the creative that I am. We may differ on certain things, but he and I, we're both Christians, but we're in different worlds, I think, sometimes. Mm-hmm. But it never bothers our relationship.
That's awesome.
We're always able to come back together and like I said before, communicate in a respectful way, even if like we might have a political difference or something. Because I'm an anarchist.
Yeah.
If I had
man.
to define myself, it would be modern anarchism.
Okay.
Which is not really burn itself down so much as let's take care of our communities directly together
by force.
Forget. Prove we don't need the government is my.
Oh, is that right?
That's kind of my sustain yourself and your neighbors.
I got you.
And then if you can prove to them that you don't need them, they have to listen to you.
Right. Yeah.
But, that doesn't go well in the Christian community because there's a lot of,
especially here in the South.
Not here in the South. There's a lot of politics that get intertwined with it.
Very much so. I grew up in church as well, so I am privy.
Sorry, I'm just pulling things.
Oh no.
So, but my argument is always, Christ was a total rebel, man. I mean, he did things no one else did. So
absolutely.
You can't define his political status. He's very anti-political, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah, I can dig that.
But if you had to get close, I would say maybe he was closer to that. I don't know. I could go on all kind of philosophy, but I won't.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Just a lot of my film stuff I want to make is based on my different views.
Is that right?
And I hold different views of traditional Christian beliefs, like hell. I don't believe in eternal damnation.
Is that right?
I do not. If you want to talk about this, I can.
I'm pretty open. Like for me, like I've been so back and forth over the years. Now, I think it's just as likely,
flying spaghetti monsters.
You could say that, or reapers, Yeah, I mean, why not?
Like ring wraiths or like Harry Potter reapers, like which?
Oh, Mass Effect.
Oh, okay. Oh man.
I mean, I just go one extreme to the other, my man. To me, it's just as likely, but I do believe that, especially lately, it's interesting you mention it because it all ties back to just being human.
Yeah.
And like I remember growing up and people saying, divorce was a thing, and my parents never divorced, but my mom passed away.
Amen.
And
I'm sorry to hear that.
Nah, it happens, man. It's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people were saying, well, people need church, and I was like, nah, I don't think you do. But now I'm like, I think some people do, bro. I think people benefit from community.
Community is very important.
Benefit from being able to talk with each other.
Yeah.
Like-minded individuals, or sometimes even not. I think there's total benefits to that. Just like there's benefits, to being raised in a two-person household.
Yeah.
Two-parent household.
Yeah.
I think maybe sometimes people get either bad habits or they don't have opportunity that they would have if they did or didn't have.
There's a lot of traditional church things I would get rid of, obviously, but I can't control all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I know where I stand. I don't have to worry about someone. There's a lot of traditions I think are very damaging that we need a new perspective on.
Oh, sure.
And my God that I believe in doesn't do those things. So I part of my, like I said before, I want to use what I know I'm good at before I start just telling everyone what to do, and say through my art I want to show a different image of this God that we've come to know.
Okay.
A more loving, more understanding God than what we're used to seeing. And film, let's be honest, Christian media sometimes gets it pretty good. But a lot of the time, especially in the past, the movies are just not good.
Yeah.
They're just bad. They're hard to watch. And some stuff recently very good. There was a Christian group that did the movie about Fred Rogers.
Okay.
Recently with Tom Hanks.
Is that right?
Very, very good.
I haven't seen it.
Very moving. You should watch it. Anything with Mr. Rogers makes you want to like just curl up and cry because you're like, he's everyone's dad.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone knows that voice and that smooth tone, and that Hanks just doesn't try to do an impression, but he does a very good job of capturing that.
I love Hanks, man.
But there's a lot of things that I think turn people away, and you're not gonna just like, it's not gather everyone like Billy Graham or something necessarily. That's not necessarily my calling. My calling is just to say, well, maybe people don't burn for eternity in torment. Maybe there's a period where they're just gone after a certain period of time, because I don't think a loving God can exist in the same universe where people are being tortured. And I don't think it's biblical. I think there's more to back up the reality that God is not that way, more than he is. I think it was created for a reason, several political reasons too.
I can agree with that.
To subdue societies and say, pay us your tithes and you won't go to hell, like a lot of the old Catholics would do.
Well, that's interesting you mentioned that, because I was watching a Wisecrack episode yesterday, and they were talking about what is what was it? A pandemic, I think, or they were saying an epidemic. There was a big event.
Yeah.
And they ended up talking about how right now people are taking political stances and how often that occurs throughout history.
Yeah.
And how they brought up the church.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until I watched the video, but especially with how it is now, imagine if the government was the church. That's how it was 500 years ago. It was. I never looked at it that way.
They have influence now.
It's unreal.
But back then they are the law.
They were the law. That's unreal.
Even in Christ's time, they were the law.
I can't even think of how that would be.
And he was killed by a system that interpreted law in some way.
Right.
And then said, well, he's not going based on our interpretation. We got to kill him.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So he breaks the law technically multiple times. I mean, he knows he's not breaking the law, but to them, he's breaking the law. I think we should look more to that now, especially with everything that's going on. That is an example of, it's not just Christ dying. That is very important to me, but what's also important is it's revealing the systems of man do not work simultaneously in the midst of that, and how we have to keep those in check. Those systems have to be kept in check, because I believe in something greater. And that's whether you're doing it because you believe in something greater, or you just know governments don't work well. We have to keep it in check somehow.
Sure.
And it did more than just die, rise again, all this. It was a prime example of even today, looking at systems that kill people unjustly.
Oh, man.
And then what is our response to that?
Well, right now, it's to fuck up a Target.
Apparently. What the hell did Target do for me, though?
I don't know, man.
I do like Target. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, I know. I'm just, to me, I shared this on Facebook yesterday, where it's like, people rioting and everything. And it makes me feel that maybe it's a little more, it's about a little more than just another black man dying.
Yeah. I
mean, that's horrible in itself.
Yeah.
But the way people are reacting, I don't know. It feels
tense.
like there's something else. Yeah. Whether that's the pandemic, people not having jobs, it's not being able to eat.
The fact that people have had to stay in one place for several people, not everyone has done it, but have had to have that cabin fever already.
Yeah.
And then to build all those thoughts up and couple that with this rage.
And social media.
They're not social distancing because they're flipping cars over.
Right.
It's a mess.
It's crazy, man.
And it's very sad. And my thing is, I believe people's feelings are valid when they do something. And it should be, again, take a breath, step back, understand why. Listen to that voice, because these are all young people. And, in the 60s, my dad witnessed all the Vietnam stuff that was happening, the riots with, civil rights and everything. So you look back at that time, and there were several people that would stand up and speak. But I think the problem is you can't have leadership in a society where everyone has a voice.
Yeah.
So the real leaders, they're not on Facebook. They're not on Twitter or Instagram. They're behind the scenes talking to their group, saying, how do we make this better? And those are the people I want to see come forward. Because everyone's going to have an opinion about this, you know?
Yeah.
And it make you nuts to read all of it and to try to decipher all of it.
Yeah.
So I think we need to listen to that voice. I'm not saying, you know, I don't condone crime or looting, but I understand the reaction at the same time. And there's a sense of empathy that should come with, well, this is what they see. This is how they're reacting. So how do we help?
Yeah, no.
How do we go? How can we help?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I grew up in a black neighborhood my whole life. I don't know anything else. You know, my bullies were black, but my heroes were also black.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it was a different experience for me than some of my other white friends who didn't have that kind of inner city or suburban black neighborhood experience, because I grew out of a lot of ignorances at a younger age, just because I came to the realization, man, I'm not afraid. I don't have to be afraid. I'm never scared of cops or why are my friends scared of this? Why are they this? Why are they that? And I would talk about my heritage, you know, and they'd go, yeah, that's great. And I'm like, what about your heritage? And they're like, did you not read the history book? and it was a hard truth. And I was very young. I had to go, oh shit.
Yeah.
We took that from you back then, you know. We stole something that you could be, you know, talking to me about the way I'm talking to you about mine. Because I have Scottish heritage. I can go back to William Wallace, and I can go back to what my ancestors. I mean, I went to Scotland and saw castles my ancestors built in my last name, the Forrester last name.
That's wild.
Like, that's so cool. But it saddens me every time I think about it, because there's so many people that didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But again, you know, I'm a poet, I'm a filmmaker, I'm an actor. So I have to always ground myself in, I'm going to need to use what I know to communicate something. Because I go into science, or I go into political realms, I'm not going to make a lot of headway. I'm not going to make a lot of change. You know?
No, I understand. You like to put your thinking and your messaging through what you do in your art.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I commend it. I love it. Well, that to me is some of the best film or gaming or whatever it is. It's the best art whenever you can very much see intention. And
someone's really bleeding out.
Absolutely,
putting their stuff out there.
Yeah.
Love My Country is a love story, but it's coupled with, you know, this angst and hatred and for this guy, for the government. But he has to come to the conclusion at some point, I can't let that control me. I can be mad, yes, but I need to control my anger. I need to know that that's not helping anybody.
Right.
I wrote a book of poetry too.
Is that right?
Yes. I have it here.
Well, you got to read one, man.
Let's see. Here it is. I tried to get it published before I came on. So by the time you probably release this, you can have a link in the description, I'm sure.
Yeah? Is it published now?
I'm like in the middle phase on Amazon.
Okay.
To get it online.
Okay.
I should have it done within the week.
That's awesome, because this will go up either today or tomorrow. But regardless, we can update it with the description.
Okay, cool.
No problem.
Perfect. But it's very short, but that is my grandmother's art there.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote this. It's old stuff I wrote. It's new stuff I wrote. Stuff about depression, stuff about my life, whatever. And there's poems from the movie Love My Country in
Yeah.
here as well that are finished because there's unfinished poems in the movies. You kind of get a glimpse of
Okay.
extras.
There we go. Some behind the scenes.
I wrote a poem about my wife, of course.
You got to.
But yeah, there's stuff about the country and just things that upset me, and I try to get things out there. And so yeah,
It's good to create, man. It is. That's something I haven't done in a while. I used to write,
yeah.
because I'm a musician.
Okay,
And
cool.
dude, I play guitar for almost 15 years.
I can speak your language.
There you go. And I'm, of course, growing up writing poems, songs, all that jazz.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in quite a while, though. But I commend you for it, man, because it's not easy. People think just
Right.
because of the length or, how few words there are,
Right.
it doesn't take much effort. But it takes time.
It tends especially when you're dealing with something.
Yes, absolutely.
Like the first few are about my struggle with depression.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to communicate it in a way that people can relate to it, because you try to explain it, it's like, I don't get it. Like, people don't get it, especially if they've never dealt with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're just kind of like,
Well, luckily, more and more, that's becoming more normal to be
right.
a little more sympathetic to how people feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm hawking my book.
Dude. Well, hey, man. How do you feel about reading one?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate you for coming on. I think we don't ever have anyone, pushing their book. So I think that's a great place to end it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, we'll pick one.
Yeah.
There's 4 chapters here. It's me, her, nation, and Yeshua.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'll just do the first one out of the book. How about that?
that sounds great. If it's cool with you, we'll end it right after you finish.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. And after you, sir.
Cover these halls, doors and cracks, windows and walls. This house needs more blinds, more covers over the openings. Color them black. Veil them in shrouds of pallid tapestries, seamless structures and wooden boards. Away with your brightness, away with your warmth, away with your games. Withdraw the lights, paint my eyes, blindfold me. Let me cover my ears beneath the water. Leave me with only breath. Leave me alone living here. Feel the life, feel the fear. The only senses left are true. The only place worth going is here. Drowning from the outside in, living from the inside out. My soul pulls within. My heart is in doubt. My mind is dim. My spirit is en route. Cover these halls, doors and cracks, windows and walls.